They died in war so that we could live in peace. Solemn Trump gives Memorial Day address at Arlington National Cemetery as he lays wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. President Donald Trump honored those who lost their lives serving the nation as he participated in a solemn wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery Monday and told emotional stories of just a few who perished. Here at this hallowed shrine we honor the noblest among us, the men and the women who paid the ultimate price for victory and for freedom, Trump told a crowd of families, military personnel, and dignitaries at Arlington on Monday in his first Memorial Day speech as president. We pay tribute to those brave souls who raced into gunfire, roared into battle and ran into hell to face down evil. They made their sacrifice not for fame or for money or even for glory, but for country, Trump said. They died in war, so that we could live in peace, he added. Among those whose stories Trump shared was Army Specialist Christopher Horton, an Oklahoma Army Guard member who died in Afghanistan. He was a sniper known as one of the best shots anywhere at any time, the president said, but died during a deployment in 2011 at the age of just 26. Chris sacrificed his life to protect his fellow soldiers and to protect all Americans, Trump said, before hailing his widow. Chris secured his place in our hearts for eternity, Trump continued. Jane, America grieves with you, the president said. After he concluded his story, Horton's widow, seated near Vice President Mike Pence, wiped a tear from her eye, as she received a standing ovation from members of the crowd. Thank you, Jane, Trump said, looking up in her direction from the dais where he spoke. Trump also toured the cemetery Section 60, which holds the graves of those who served since 2001 in the global war on terrorism. The president gave a high five to Christian Jacobs, 8, who was dressed in a Marine uniform, and was there with his mother, Brittany Jacobs. His father, Marine Sergeant Christopher Jacobs, was killed in 2011. Trump also singled out General John Kelly, his Homeland Security chief, for having lost his son, Robert, who died fighting the enemies of all civilizations in Afghanistan. We grieve with you, we honor you, and we pledge to you that we will always remember Robert and what he did for all of us, the president said. Robert Kelly was killed by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan's Helmand province in 2010 at the age of 29. Trump said Kelly was joined by his son-in-law, Jake, a wounded warrior. It is because of families like yours that all of our families can live in safety and live in peace, Trump told his Homeland chief. Trump also mentioned Major Andrew Byers, who was posthumously awarded a Silver Star for his heroism confronting Taliban forces in Afghanistan. Trump commanded a high-altitude parachute team that inserted itself into northern Afghanistan, hurtling into dangerous unknown territory, as the president told it. They trekked through a mile of waist-deep mud and climbed a steep cliff, before finally reaching the village that they wanted to reach, Trump said. During a night-long battle, the Special Forces team faced wave after wave after wave of enemy fighters. After a grenade detonated, and being surrounded by Taliban forces, Andrew ran through the smoke and through the hail of bullets to rescue an Afghan soldier, Trump said, and helping open a gateway to safety for U.S. and Allied forces. But in saving those lives, Andrew was killed, right then and there, by enemy fire, Trump said. To his parents, David and Rose, we stand in awe of your son and his courageous sacrifice, the president said. Trump laced his remarks with religious references. To every Gold Star family, God is with you and your loved ones are with him, he said. He also hailed former Senator Bob Dole, the former majority leader and failed presidential candidate, who suffered injuries in World War II that extended through his life. Trump called Dole 93, a man whose life demonstrates the values of service and sacrifice. As a candidate, Trump took heat for battling with the Gold Star family of Humayun Khan, who was killed in Iraq in 2004. Khan's father, Khizr Khan, invoked his son's death during the Democratic convention and blasted Trump, who then took to Twitter to go after the father. Trump visited the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington on Monday for the ceremony. After listening to the national anthem, Trump slowly placed the wreath before the tomb. After a military official secured the wreath, the president gave it a pat with his hand, then slowly backed away from it. He paused silently, and then walked away, standing for a rendition of taps, at which point the simple ceremony for military service members who have fallen was concluded. Accompanying the President or Secretary of Defense James Mattis and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Joseph Dunford. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, who left Trump's overseas trip early to return to Washington, also was there, as was Counselor to the President Kellyanne Conway. Earlier, Trump sent out gratitude and prayers on Memorial Day via Twitter to those who lost their lives in service of their country. Today we remember the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in serving. Thank you, God bless your families and God bless the USA. Trump wrote in one of a series of tweets Monday. Accompanying the President or Secretary of Defense James Mattis and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Joseph Dunford. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, who left Trump's overseas trip early to return to Washington, also was there, as was Counselor to the President Kellyanne Conway. Earlier, Trump sent out gratitude and prayers on Memorial Day via Twitter to those who lost their lives in service of their country. Today we remember the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in serving. Thank you, God bless your families and God bless the USA. Trump wrote in one of a series of tweets Monday. Vice President Mike Pence greeted about 80 participants in the Project Hero Memorial Day bike ride. We are incredibly honored to host Project Hero back at the home of the Vice President, Pence said. This is a day we remember those who served and did not come home. To be able to welcome you here on this most hallowed of days is profoundly humbling to Karen and I, he added. Pence praised Trump's extraordinary trip abroad, before heading to Arlington for the service. North Korea has shown great disrespect for their neighbor, China, by shooting off yet another ballistic missile. But China is trying hard. Trump tweeted. North Korea's latest launch landed into the Sea of Japan, in a provocation toward one of the United States' closest allies. According to a tally compiled by Axios, there are 4,411 U.S. casualties from Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2,216 from Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Out of 1.3 million active-duty U.S. military and 800,000 reservists, about 200,000 are currently deployed overseas. Arizona Senator John McCain sent out his own Memorial Day message in a video greeting. Throughout our history, we have always asked the few to protect the many. In order that the rest of us, the vast majority, can live in a free and prosperous society, the former Vietnam POW said. I would like to say to all of our former service members, and our service members, thanks for serving. And for all of our other citizens, I'd like to say thank you for your honoring those who have served and sacrificed. I believe that it's only in America where we do such things to such a degree, and it makes me proud to be an American, McCain said.